Hi. This is Tori again, and I'm here just to tell you a little bit more about why the Incarcerated Students Program is unique and some situations you might be able to anticipate while you're teaching with the program. To start, many of our locations at one time or another will experience a lockdown, which is when students or inmates are not allowed to leave their cell. And so this can affect the student's ability to turn in their work on time or complete an exam if a lockdown is being held during a time of the quarter where they need to submit something or be called in for an exam. Recently, this past spring, we had one of our locations, High Desert State Prison, be on lockdown for several months, and that was during the spring quarter finals. And so we had a whole yard of students not be able to complete their exams by the end of the spring quarter. And it is now, we just kicked off our summer quarter. It's July 12th today, and those students are planning to take their spring finals next week, hopefully. So that's just one example of why a student might not be able to complete your course during its scheduled time. We also have a lot of student movement regarding transfers, cell movements, yard movements, and oftentimes students aren't aware when this will occur. And so the coordinators will do their best to let us know when a student moves and whether or not they would be able to continue working through that coordinator, or if they've moved locations, and then we'll try to connect with their new facility. So in that event, we can anticipate a student to possibly be a little delayed in submitting their work or finishing the course if they transfer mid-quarter. Now, of course, us here in the ISP office will always do our best to communicate these movements and transfers with the faculty and notify the instructors which of their students in particular are affected by transfer movement, so that they can anticipate any late work or maybe issuing incompletes or something like that, maybe even a grade change. Oftentimes when we distribute materials to students in the beginning of the quarter, not all students are able to meet with us. So we are currently finishing up our summer distribution, which is when we visit all of our locations and meet with our students face to face. During that time, we provide their books and course materials and go over kind of the gist of the quarter and what's expected of students. So if we're unable to meet with students when we're at their location, often we have to leave it up to the coordinator there to provide the materials to the students at a later time. So when that happens, it's not uncommon for students to get their course materials a little bit late or after the quarter begins. And so that would be another reason you might be expecting some late work from students. And again, we will try to notify you if you have any students in that situation. We work with a variety of locations, some of which are considered working camps or fire camps. And the ISP program here at Lake Tahoe is a dynamic program in the sense that we're still learning how to best accommodate our students at each of their locations and their unique requirements there. And so, for example, at Growlersburg Conservation Camp, which is over here kind of by Placerville, last summer, those guys were out fighting fires for the entire summer quarter. It was rare that they would even make it back to the camp for even a few days before they'd be shipped out again. And so through that summer quarter, we learned and realized that a 6-week quarter might not be ideal for them because they're just not able to pay attention and work on their modules while they're out throughout the state fighting wildfires. And so just this past fall and spring, we have piloted a condensed quarter for those that are firefighters, so that they have the opportunity to still complete a class in the fall and spring and not be tied to the 12-week quarter schedule, so that they can have the opportunity to complete a class and still attend to their jobs. We're still trying this out, and we will continue to try new things, so keep that in mind as you join our program and as we continue to take on new locations and facilities and learn what their unique requirements and situations are. We are just going to roll with the flow and hope that you are willing to do so as well. One other kind of obstacle or thing to consider with our students is that they all have a college coordinator at their location inside. So while we are our own program and our own office at Lake Tahoe, each of our prison locations have their own education staff, and so we coordinate with them to carry out our program and make sure that our student needs are met. If those college coordinators or education staff are out of the office, let's say it's scheduled time out of the office through CDCR's schedule, if it's personal time like sick, vacation, or whatever it might be, students might not have the ability to turn in their work when they have completed it. And so students might be completing the work and getting through their modules as scheduled. However, the staff on their location might not be available to actually send it to us. So we do have a homework envelope, which you will see at some point during this video, that shows how we record and track the different dates. And that's just something to keep in mind as well. It's not always our students' fault that work is getting delivered to us late, and we will be sure to let you know if we are aware of any of those situations so that you can keep an eye out for that as well. And lastly, I just want to remind you that most of these things I've mentioned and others that I haven't are usually out of our students' control. So they might not have the foresight or knowledge to let us know ahead of time if something's going to be occurring, and we might be learning things after events happen. And so again, we will do our best to communicate to you of your students or situations that you need to be aware of. But we just ask that you remain open-minded and flexible and understanding of what might be happening on the inside. And these students don't always know what's going to happen in terms of student transfers and movements or lockdowns or staff being out of the office. But we are a team here, and we are pleased that you're joining us, and feel free to come visit us if you have any questions, or if any of these situations arise during your class and you need to ask for verification to confirm whether or not a student's situation is legit, or if you have questions on how to best proceed or move forward with something, we're here to talk that out with you and come up with the best solution.